return to a point existential kink. Caroline Elliott, PhD. Caroline Elliott, existential kink. Unmask your shadow and embrace your power. God's self kink. Let's return to a point mentioned in the introduction. If the ancient wisdom of Vedas are correct, and the whole universe is just God playing elaborate rounds of hidden seek with gossip, that God is a super freak. We need only look around our planet to see that God's idea of a fun time includes some seriously edgy, ultra taboo, hardcore stuff, including war and poverty and pain and ravaging and abuse and atrocities of our variety. There's a whole lot of sadism and masochism, dominance and submission, bondage and torture, in both extreme and subtle forms, that God enjoys playing out with gossip. I propose that our suffering and suckness in life comes from forgetting that we're divine sparks playing a wild kinky game, and that great miracles can come forth in our lives. When we reverse the process of forgetting by deliberately reclaiming the pleasure of the game, not just in our minds, but in our hearts and genitals. I acknowledge this might be difficult to accept, especially after 2,000 years of Christianity, insisting of a God that's wholly good, who nonetheless is constantly, mysteriously counterbalanced by a powerful evil devil. But it simply stands to reason that if we want to consistently embody our whole divine inheritance and become true magicians, to become people who are capable of attaining our most meaningful aims in experiencing bountiful fulfillment, healing, and love in our daily lives, then we need to wake ourselves up in the midst of this great freaky game by savoring and enjoying it, grabbing exquisitely for it, getting off on it, just like God does. When we do this, we become lucid in the dream of waking life, capable of executing marvels. We become undeniably, tangibly aware of the divine presence, the spark of God's self within us. We start to perceive our lives from the perspective of the divine curiously within us, instead of from our grasping egos. Our inner divinity ceases to be a sweet, comforting new age idea and instead becomes a tangible, electrifying, felt reality. When we do this work, we put into concrete application the famous alchemical dictum from the Emerald Tablets, As above, so below, as within, so without. It's easy to give up, give lip service to that dramatic notion of cosmic correspondence, which is at the heart of magical worldview, but it's a whole other thing to actually live it. This living it. It is the essence of existence, kink. Consider this our conscious selves, the selves who will usually take ourselves to be definitely do not want all the bad stuff of life. In other words, our conscious selves, otherwise known as egos, believe that instead of failure, humiliation, poverty, illness, rejection, and sadness, we would much rather have wings, success, wealth, health, romance, joy, and so forth. But as the Buddha observed, our sentience being want to be happy, and all sentience being suffer. In other words, it seems that in the life we often end up getting the opposite of what we say we want. And as Hollywood celebrities well know, it's possible to have everything, all the good stuff of the world, and still be totally, particularly, widely miserable. So what gives? Clearly something nasty is going on here. I'd offer the following explanation: as humans, our whole selves are always reflections of the divine totally, as above, so below, as within, so without. We are microcosmic reflections of the totally holy microcosm, and as such, we are each innately curious about and desirous for the full spectrum of potential experiments, both the painful and pleasurable, the able and the good, the ugly and the beautiful. Really let this sink in for a minute. And contrary to some aerial law of attraction notions, we rarely get what we consciously want unless we do the kind of deep soul work addressed in this book, but we always get what we consciously want. And if you're curious as to what you unconsciously want, you don't need 30 years of psychologists to figure it out. You can just take a look at what you currently have in your life and know that's exactly what your unconscious wants, because what your unconscious wants, it gets. This is something we'll discuss more in a bit. As long as we insist that we absolutely don't want dark, freaky, unpleasant things, a major part of our full spectrum human curiously gets cut off, repressed, denied, and made unconscious. And this is bad news bears, because these are curiosities, and the unconscious have much more power to be manifest in material reality than our conscious, good, ego-approved desires do. We need to learn how to on off to the darker side of our human curiosity and take such deep, shameless responsibility for it, and admit that we are willing to enjoy these challenging manifestations. If we do not own up, then we are likely to stay stuck in the same cycle of unconscious creations of scary stuff. Let's pause and consider that relation of what we are taking about to another very grand idea, that great work of alchemy.